everything Elon was doing didn't also just so happen to benefit Elon. For example, the FAA begun doing its mass layoffs. Hundreds of employees were fired just last weekend. Now, the only potential conflict here would be if, say, somebody particularly close to the president just so happened to own a space company. And what are the odds? Because Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy tweeted, "Tomorrow, members of Elon Musk's SpaceX team will be visiting the Air Traffic Control System Command Center in Virginia to get a first-hand look at the current system, learn what air traffic controllers like and dislike about their current tools, and envision how we can make a new, better, modern, and safer system." To which Elon replied, "The safety of air travel is nonpartisan. SpaceX engineers will help make air travel safer." Isn't that convenient? The government agency that oversees air travel endures mass layoffs, and it just so happens that Elon's own private company, where he profits off of, is there to swoop in. I want to be clear. Trump and Elon will frame this as some attack on waste, fraud, and abuse. These people do not do anything unless they can personally derive some benefit from it. Elon Musk is not here because he is some patriot. He is here because he is profiting from it. And Trump is content to allow it to happen because this is his half of the quid pro quo. Elon funded his presidential campaign, and now he gets his compensation. And Trump doesn't give a shit whether the FAA is public or whether air safety is doled out to private contractors. He just has to take care of the guy who took care of him. These two people are engaged in a transactional relationship, and it's the rest of us who have to foot the bill for it. And by the way, as far as the FAA is concerned, it's not just the fact that SpaceX engineers are beginning the process of privatizing public work. Remember, too, that the FAA had several open investigations into Tesla, and the FAA had recently ordered SpaceX to carry out a formal investigation into the loss of a Starship vehicle during a test flight, and previously ordered over $630,000 in civil penalties against SpaceX. Although, good news for Elon, those investigations will now go away and the fines will be eliminated. But again, we were promised that no conflicts, and so what choice do we have but to believe them? After all, how could you not trust these two guys when they say this?
Well,
he won't be involved.
Yeah, I'll recuse myself if it is.
If there's a conflict, he won't be involved. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want that, and he won't want it.
You see, Elon wouldn't want a conflict. He would hate that. And so would Trump. Just the thought of there being a conflict of interest is so repulsive to these two beacons of integrity and truth and honesty. In fact, we should all be ashamed for even entertaining the notion that they could do such a thing. In fact, this isn't even close to the only conflict that Elon's overseen. He started his Doge commission at USAID, while the USAID Inspector General had already initiated a probe into Starlink satellite terminals in the Russia-Ukraine war. That Inspector General was fired and the investigation was shut down. Who do you think that benefits? Or how about the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, another early Elon Doge target? Consumers had submitted over 300 complaints about Tesla to the CFPB, and yet Trump decided to fire CFPB Director Rohit Chopra and install Project 2025 architect Russ Vought as the Bureau's acting director. The CFPB's Washington headquarters was then closed, and staff and contractors were told that they couldn't perform any more tasks. Musk himself tweeted, "Delete CFPB," less than a week after the agency finalized a rule that could put his planned collaboration with Visa to offer a real-time payment system on the platform into the agency's crosshairs. So after seeing what Elon did to the CFPB, now ask yourself, who does all of this benefit? Or how about the Department of Labor, which oversees the National Labor Relations Board, the NLRB, also oversees the Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs and the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, all of which had over a dozen open investigations into Tesla and SpaceX regarding alleged unfair labor practices, safety violations, and discriminatory work practices. The NLRB actually filed a complaint against SpaceX after 8 employees said that they were fired in retaliation for criticizing Elon Musk. SpaceX sued the NLRB in response. The Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs was conducting an audit of potential workplace discrimination at Tesla. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission sued Tesla for alleged racial harassment and retaliation in 2023. And in response to all of that, well, Trump fired the Department of Labor Inspector General, fired the chair of the NLRB, blocked their ability to rule on cases, gutted the Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs via executive order, which in turn prevented the investigation's findings about Tesla from being made public, and, just for good measure, fired 2 of the 3 Democratic commissioners on the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Again, ask yourself, who does that all benefit? And of course, that's just the tip of the iceberg. The EPA had multiple lawsuits open against Tesla for violations of the Clean Air Act and hazardous waste laws at the company's automotive manufacturing plant in Fremont, California. Trump fired the inspector general there. The FEC was set to rule on a number of complaints that were filed during the 2024 election cycle, including complaints regarding Musk's America PAC. So Trump illegally removed the FEC chair from her post. The Department of Interior runs the Fish and Wildlife Service, which Musk has repeatedly clashed with, calling the review process unacceptable. Trump fired the DOI inspector general. The DOJ filed a lawsuit in 2023 against SpaceX for engaging in hiring discrimination and investigations into whether Tesla had been candid in describing the features of its vehicles. Trump has since remade the DOJ in his image. The SEC sued Twitter in January, alleging that Musk misled shareholders about his Twitter stock purchases in 2022 and ordered Musk to pay the federal government as much as $150 million. Musk called the agency a totally broken organization in response to the lawsuit. Trump has since pushed out the SEC chair, leaving the agency with a Republican majority. In total, there are a staggering 12 agencies where Elon has a conflict. 12 agencies where either he or Trump have kneecapped their ability to continue investigating him. So of course Trump and Elon are going to pretend that this is all in service of eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse, but excuse me if I'm just a tad bit skeptical of the fact that Elon's found a way to help himself with every single action he's taken. This is, again, Trump making good on his end of the bargain. Elon gives him $250 million during the campaign, and now Elon gets to cash out on his end of the deal. In other words, this visual really isn't that far off. Before you go, just a quick note, if you'd like to see more of my content, which is always free of advertising, sponsorships, and paywalls, please make sure to subscribe to this channel using the subscribe button right here on the screen. And if you'd like to support my work even further, you can grab a copy of my instant #1 New York Times selling book, Shameless, available for sale right now. That link is also on the screen. Thanks so much for watching.